Continue to get you the non-stop coverage as we are focusing as far as the judicial magistrate court there in Srinagar now beginning to hear where the case, a petition that has now been filed by the family of Satish Kumar Tickoo. The brother there raising the issue as far as seeking a status report on the progress of the investigation. Imagine, it's been over 30 years and the family is still awaiting justice. As far as the said individual is concerned, Farooq Ahmed Dar, alias Bitta Karate, because he's been accused of the murder case of Kashmiri Pandits Satish Tickoo, and even in their family, the Tickoo family is now urging that the entire investigation be court monitored till the time a charge sheet is filed, Pratibha.
That's right, because the first time around, he was in jail for 16 years, but there has still, even now, after 32 years, there has been no conviction yet. And, the justice has also eluded the victims who have been waiting all these years. Now, finally, court will be monitoring the probe, the petition now asking for court monitoring till a charge sheet has been filed in this regard as well. We're joined by Ishan as well as Sabyasachi with more details on this. Ishan, to you first. This is a big breakthrough moment. This is something that the victims, the Kashmiri Hindus, have been waiting for a long time now. Now we have a petition seeking a status report and also a court-monitored probe until a charge sheet is filed.
Well, yes, ever since Kashmir files came out, there has been a larger debate, not only among the Kashmiri Pandit community, but many people demanding that what happened to these cases which were filed by the family members of those who died during the 90s and even after that, because not a lot of progress, according to them, was made in these cases, and that is why it became important for them to reinvestigate these cases. Politics aside, there was a political blame game that unfolded, but today what we are seeing is that a plea which was filed a year back, according to advocate, an fresh application was filed just few days back, on which the court decided to hear it today at 10:30. The hearing is going on. The advocate, which is representing that particular people, Tickoo's family, says that they have reapproached the court and are in hope that they will call for reinvestigation, reopening of all those cases. Because remember, it was in 2005 when Bitta Karate was given a bail by the court, citing several reasons. They blamed prosecution for not being, providing enough proof in a way so that they could carry on with the case, and that is when he was given a bail. Remember, Farooq Ahmed is actually undergoing, in jail, but for a different case which NI is investigating of money, which is coming here to, instigate.
And that is the terror funding case that you are mentioning right now, Ishan. But quickly also getting a point of view as far as our political parties is concerned. BJP is reacting. They are welcoming this move. And they're also saying that there could be scores of other Bitta Karates who need to be behind bars. And when it comes to scores of other Kashmiri Hindu Pandits, those families that are still seeking justice, over 3 decades that have passed and justice continues to elude them. Let's listen in.
और अच्छा है कि इस प्रकार के केस खुलने चाहिए। इस प्रकार के जो खूंखार आतंकवादी हैं, जिन्होंने इस सारे त्रासदी को अंजाम दिया था, जिसके कारण से वहां माहौल खराब हुआ, अपने ही देश में हिंदुओं का विस्थापन हुआ, सिखों का विस्थापन हुआ, ये कोई अच्छी बात नहीं थी। उस वक्त की सरकारों ने इसका संज्ञान नहीं लिया। लेकिन आज इस प्रकार से जब ये केस सामने खुलेगा तो निश्चय ही उन लोगों को भी इंसाफ मिलेगा और आइंदा से भी इस प्रकार के जो लोग हैं उनको सख्त से सख्त सजा मिले, ऐसा मुझे लगता है कि कोर्ट की तरफ से भी निर्देश जारी होने चाहिए। ये इस प्रकार की एक जो सत्य सामने आया है, उसी का ही परिणाम है कि आज इस प्रकार के जो कदम है उठाए जा रहे हैं।
All right, let's open this up. Dr. Ramesh Raira, who is a genocide victim, joining us. Majid Hadri, political analyst, also joining us. So Majid Hadri, to you first. This is a big moment. The wait has been going on for over 30 years. Now the probe is going to be relooked at. A status report has been filed, but there is hope that, he will be tried for the murder trial of not just Tickoo, but several Kashmiri Hindus, something that he has also admitted on camera.
Well, madam, I stand with my Kashmiri Pandits for their pain and their happy return to Kashmir. But let me tell you that Vivek Agnihotri's Bollywood melodrama cannot be an extrajudicial authority to decide about this case. Honorable Supreme Court
in 2000... about as an eye-opener, sir. Hadri sir,
yes,
as an eye-opener.
Madam, I am coming to this point only. Honorable Supreme Court in April 2017 said, now it's too late to open the cases. So when Honorable Supreme Court has already given us sort of a judgment...
For that very reason, sir, curative petition has also been filed, sir, to have a re-look into what the Supreme Court had said. Just giving you a quick update,
what will we get out of that? What will we get out of
sir,
that?
Justice,
if you
sir?
talk about 19...
Justice?
Madam, then I'll say I am a victim of Babri Masjid demolition. Babri Masjid shaheed ki gayi thi. What about that? That Babri Masjid also exists.
Sir, final report and verdict has been given by the Supreme Court. Don't link between the two of them. It has been over 30 years. We have a genocide victim right here, Dr. Raina. I mean, is it a small case? It's been 30 years, sir.
Let me remind Mr. Majid Haidari that he cannot link demolition of Babri Masjid to the human crisis that was created in the early 90s. You see, let me remind him that my maternal uncle, whose name was Raman Razdan, he was chopped into pieces and we never recovered his dead body. We never recovered what happened to him later on. What I am trying to tell you is that during all these 32 years, an attempt has been made to romanticize terrorism. Romanticizing of terrorism would mean that Bitta Karate had the audacity to admit on the TV that I have killed so many number of Kashmiri Pandits and I have lost the count of Kashmiri Pandits thereafter. And the nation and the state has been watching it quite patiently and without contesting what he has been saying. It is not me, it is available with the whole world at the moment, that small clip. That is number one. And number two, what has Mr. Majid Haidari to say when Sarla Bhatt, a nurse from Sher-e Kashmir Institute, was put on a SA after being gang raped and divided on a SA? Isn't it barbaric? What had he to say? What has he to say about Tiklal Taplu, who was feeding so many families, including
that's right. In fact, we have Ashutosh Taplu, who is joining us as well, the son of Tiklal Taplu. Mr. Ashutosh, you know, how would you respond to it when, you know, there are certain sections telling you that this is a case that is done, now don't reopen the files. There's no reason to relook that case.
Ashutosh, can you hear us, sir?
Let me tell you, as far as the files which has opened a debate, why were those people when Haider was shown, when Mission Kashmir was shown, that was all about Kashmiri Muslims, that was about a particular community. Nobody raised a finger against that movie. Now when an untold
Ashutosh, just a quick update. I just have to interrupt you. I'm just getting a quick update from our reporters, just bringing it out for our viewers right now. The hearing has just begun. This is right at the Judicial Magistrate Court in Srinagar Court, where this hearing has now begun. We are told that the bench has assembled and the hearing has just begun in the Sessions Court. Quickly taking a live also from Ishan. Ishan, can you help us understand the matter will now be taken up, where the petition that has been filed by the Tickoo family will be taken up in court shortly?
Well, yes, it will be taken up shortly by the additional sessions judge who sits at the Srinagar court. Now, as I said earlier, that they have filed a fresh application before the court, but interestingly, one has to see what the judge observes, because there will be arguments from the petition side that, because interesting points is that there was no progress made, the reopening of cases, whether the judge will call for reopening of the cases immediately, or will the hearing be, there will be one more hearing or more hearings in the coming days. But definitely the family wants a quick hearing in these cases, because they say that since several years these cases have been pending, and now the bench, we are told the judge has started hearing the arguments, but one has to see that how long it will take for them to deliver the verdict or to give some observation on these cases.
Okay, all right. Let's take this across to Majid Haidari. Mr. Majid Haidari, let's tell you some of the loopholes. I'm sure you're aware of it as well. The first one being that the family members were not even called for questioning. We have a man, Bitta Karate, who has said it on camera that yes, I have killed Kashmiri Hindus. He has said it on camera. He has admitted it. He said, I got money for it and that's what I did. He has still not been convicted. So don't you think there should be a chance that should be given to the victims, or would you deny it again?
Madam, I would say let the bygones be bygones. We need to strive for mutual coexistence. We need to strive for vikas.
Sir, what about closure, sir? What about closure? The families still don't have closure. They've lost their loved ones right in front of their eyes. Satish Kumar Tickoo was killed in front of his family on the 2nd of February 1990, sir.
Madam, we don't have a closure of Justice Liberahan Commission report on Babri Masjid. What happened to that
Sir,
report?
where are you going exactly? Now stop deviating, sir. I am talking about the Kashmiri Hindus and the Pandits. You seem to be claiming that you understand that pain, sir.
I believe in the idea of one India. I will talk about everything which is
I would again request Mr. Majid Hydari not to link two uncomparables. They are uncomparables. Babri Masjid was a mosque. It was a structure. Here, a human civilization of 3 to 4 lakh Kashmiri Pandits had to flee that place during the intervening night of 19th and 20th January. Can this catastrophe be compared with the demolition of Babri Masjid?
Yes, sir, exactly.
No, strongly no. Mr. Hydari, please listen to me. Please have patience to listen to me. Mr. Hydari, please have patience to listen to me. The strategy adopted at that point of time was kill 1 and scare 1,000. That is what was done, and nobody had the audacity to say, what are you people doing? When Naveen Sapru was killed at Habakadal, people walked thereby and nobody took note of that. That was the kind of scare. When Dian Chaudhary was killed, his eyes were gouged out. Cigarette bits were put on his arm, and then his body was hanged in the most inhuman manner. Please understand, Mr. Hydari, we are living in an age of enlightenment.
That's right. And the fear was such that even to this day, many are even scared to call it a genocide. Many still call it just exodus. In fact, back then, the government was also implicit in it. Times Now has also accessed these documents where the government had said that this was a self-imposed exodus by the Kashmiri Hindus. So how can you assume that justice was given? How can you say let bygones be bygones? Let's bring in activist Lalit Ambardar, who's also joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Lalit Ambardar, how would you respond to that when they say, you know, that's something that has happened already, let bygones be bygones, let's move on from here?
Who?
Mr. Lalit Ambardar, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got it. Ma'am, I'm sorry, I couldn't get it. Now I am with you. Listen, it's high time. I don't expect the Kashmiri Islamists or their spokesperson on ground, like you have one here who wants Kashmiri Hindus to forget what kind of genocide they were subjected to. This is not the first time Kashmiri Hindus have suffered genocide. In 7 last centuries, we had to flee. There were 7 genocidal exoduses earlier on. 7th happened right under the watch of Indian secular constitution, 40 years after so-called independence of India. That makes it more worrisome. Our state, the Indian state, abandoned us. The Indian nation abandoned us. The Hindus of India were so insensitive to what was happening to Hindus, Aboriginal Hindus in Kashmir. But now, and as I said, we are very optimistic. We never gave up. In exile, we kept our resistance alive. Because it wasn't just a law and order problem what we faced in Kashmir. It was a full-fledged pan-Islamism inspired Kashmir Jihad genocide. And genocide is a process. It's not just that it happened overnight. It took
Lalitji, for the benefit of our viewers and also our guests joining us right now, as we are reporting live on the current hearing that has been taking place, it has now been adjourned. What is now being said by the court that 16th of April is the next date of hearing, and the court has asked the lawyer representing the family to submit their application. Quick update from you, Ishan, please.
Well, yes, 16th April is the next hearing. Court has asked lawyer, which is representing the family, to submit an application. They had moved an application online, we are told. My colleague Sahil is inside the court. He says that Bitta Karate's lawyer tried to disrupt the proceedings. So next day of hearing, as I was saying earlier, that whether this will be on a fast basis or there will be next hearing happening. Now, the date has been set on April 16. He has been told to move the application. Now, again, there's a lot of time left, 15-16 days, after which the court will now hear this matter. Now the family had moved it online. Now they might have been told to move it offline because the courts are sitting there. So one has to see that what happens on the April 16 now, since now there has been a delay in that particular case.
All right, Ishan, thank you for getting us that update. Of course, the important thing is that the investigation has been reopened and the court will be monitoring the same as well.